Police body camera footage shared with KHOU by civil rights attorney Randall Callanan shows a portion of Taylor Rogers' interaction with Santa Fe ISD and city police in August of 2021.
And for no reason, thrown on the ground right into a bed of fire ants.
But Santa Fe ISD Police Chief Ruben Espinoza says she was stopped for an important reason. Rogers allegedly tried to make an illegal turn into the school parking lot. When he tried to explain that, he says she became irate, ignored him, and continued into the back parking lot.
When I approached the intersection and observed Ms. Rogers fleeing, she also was passing a vehicle in the grassy area on the right side of another vehicle, and I tried to get in front of her to stop her. She then put her vehicle in reverse and fled from me.
That's when he says he used his car to stop hers, and officers pulled her from the vehicle and placed her in cuffs. These images, Callanan says, shows the aftermath of what he says are hundreds of fire ant bites on her face, neck, and shoulders.
When the police hold you down in a fire ant bed, when you're saying fire ants, screaming, and they keep you there, what is that?
But Espinoza shared still images with us saying no fire ant beds were visible and claims the seconds of video provided to KHOU is misleading.
They stopped the clip they provided to you. And the officer says, "Calm down and we will lift you up."
Espinoza says Rogers pleaded guilty to the charges associated with fleeing from police. Callanan says the officers involved were found to have acted appropriately. However, along with the civil suit, they are asking the city department to undergo additional de-escalating training and that the officers involved be disciplined.
I refuse to remain silent in the face of the violation of my son's and my civil rights.
She was never slammed to the ground. We treated her with the respect and dignity that
rights lawyer, and I'm here today with Taylor Rogers and members of the community because Taylor Rogers was stopped by the Santa Fe police and for no reason thrown on the ground right into a bed of fire ants in the middle of the day and then held there while she's screaming that there's fire ants on her. They put handcuffs on her so she can't even brush them off her face. And I just wanted to show you what this case is about. Here you go. This is just some of the ant bites, because these ant bites, fire ant bites that is, and us here in the South, we all know what fire ants are. And we know that actually, on occasion, they kill animals, and even sometimes they can kill people with enough bites. And I was counting these bites, and I stopped at 300 bites. And she can't brush them off her face, and she's telling these officers, there's ants on my face, and they don't brush them off. This was their punishment. They knew what they're doing. This was no mistake. And so we're here today to ask Santa Fe Police Department to discipline its officers. We saw the video. We gave the media the video clip, and it shows officers, 3 or 4 officers, just hanging around watching. Well, she isn't a danger. You can see she's not armed. She's not a large person. She's a female, and that officer is on top of her. She's got her constrained. She's got the handcuffs on, and they're still in the ant bed. Is it torture? Yeah, that's a strong word, but I call it torture. But the people can make up their own mind what the word is. But when the police hold you down in a fire ant bed, when you're saying fire ants, screaming, and they keep you there, what is that? And the Santa Fe Police Department has not disciplined any officer. They have accepted this behavior, which means that there are probably other situations where excessive force is used upon by officers, because if this is okay to do what they did to Taylor, then what else is okay? Is it in the face? Kicks? Shootings? What else? So we're here today to say, hey, Santa Fe Police Department, get into the 21st century. You need to discipline your officers. And so we're here today to try to do something about that by raising awareness to the Santa Fe Police Department. And we have a few people here to talk about police techniques and so forth. And the first one will be Shelby Stewart.
Can we ask about the incident itself, though?
Oh, sure.
I think that would be important you get that.
Okay, sure.
Because according to the lawsuit, this was in 2021?
Yes, that's correct.
That this was in front of the high school?
R.J. Willem.
At R.J. Willem, okay. Can you get closer to the mic?
No, she's not going to talk about the facts of the case because there's an ongoing case about it. Let me give you the generalities of it.
According to the lawsuit, it was about, she wasn't pulled over so much, she was going the wrong way in a circle drive. Is that
right?
And that was Santa Fe ISD police at first, and then Santa Fe PD.
Yeah, that's correct. There was both ISD police there and the Santa Fe police, and she never endangered a single person. At the most, she went in the wrong direction. And they change their rules all the time, so it's understandable if she did go in the wrong direction. But they were extremely aggressive, and it frightened her. I mean, they were pounding on her car, and this one officer pulls a gun on her and points it right at her when she's got her other child in the car. I mean, they're creating a dangerous situation, like escalating it through the sky, and apparently they have no de-escalation training here, and that's another thing they need is de-escalation training. So when she apparently for just a short period of time, maybe moved just a little bit, all these squads show up. Next thing you know, she's taken out of the car when she's not a danger to a single person. As a matter of fact, one of the squad cars runs into her when she's not even moving, totaling her car. Now, it didn't mean it smashed the car to pieces because the car was an older car, so when I say totaled, the value of the repair would be more than the value of the car. So that is basically what happened, and so they put her on the ground once again, and then what transpired is what transpired.
And that's why we're trying to fight, because you start with Santa Fe ISD PD, and then SFPD gets called in.
Yes.
At what time were they called for like?
Well, we don't know the fine details of it yet, because the reason being is although there's a civil lawsuit filed, there are many protections that the government has when you even file a lawsuit against the government that the citizens don't have, and one is that creates big delays in what's called the discovery process, whereby you don't even get these pieces of information and documents and so forth until later.
And that's why we're now hearing about it, even though it was 2021. This has been ongoing.
Yeah, well, the lawsuit, there's a 2-year statute of limitations to file a lawsuit, and this particular lawsuit was filed near the end of the 2 years, so it was only filed late last year, and it was filed in Houston, and then it was moved to the Galveston, because Galveston has a federal courthouse, and it started in Houston, and really not much happened there, and then it's been moved to the Galveston courthouse, and it moved to the Galveston courthouse in January.
And you're asking for the disciplinary of the officers that were involved here. Was there a formal complaint filed for internal investigation?
They did an investigation, and there was no discipline meted out. This is such a simple one. Look at the video. This is not a he said, she said. This is what the video said. Just look at the videos of everything that happened. No danger. Nobody injured except for her. Look at the video. There's 4 officers looking down, not excited about anything, while has her face in the ants, and the other officer is, just holding her down in there and she's saying ants. I mean, it's so obvious. Now, there is this, an old custom of the police that if you run or disrespect an officer, you get excessive force used on you, and maybe one of these officers will. And I think that's really what it was, is the other officer says, they just assumed that first officer knew what he was doing, and he's saying, oh, this woman, whatever, must deserve this punishment for whatever she did, so that's why we're not reacting to it. It's not that they didn't see it, or that they didn't realize it, it's that this is the form of punishment you get when you don't, stop immediately, or you disrespect an officer, which is a very archaic form, like from the Old West, and that's why we say, get into the 21st century, Santa Fe.
And if I could just clarify, too, is that you said officers standing around, and 2 things on the clip. It's a shorter clip. Is there more?
Oh, yeah, there's a whole bunch more. Yeah, there's a whole bunch more.
And how many SFP officers are there, and how many SFI?
The exact number I do not know.
Okay.
But they're both there.
Okay. Well, I'm just saying, the ones that are standing around, are they Santa Fe PD, or are they SF? Because they may have different rules of engagement. I'm trying to get kind of the context.
I don't think they have different rules of
the same
engagement.
obligation.
Yeah, they're the same because they're both licensed peace officers. As a matter of fact, one of them, some of them might have worked for one agency, then transferred to the other. So they don't change. The Constitution does not change depending upon which police agency you work for.
Actually, SFISD PD has ruled that when they turned over any incident to SFPD, they're to stand back unless they're asked for assistance. That's why I'm asking. That's their actual policy. So
Well, okay, if that's a policy, right? But they don't give up their policy not to intervene. In other words, like if you like, let's say they were the police were shooting her and stabbing her. What are you saying that you say? Oh, okay. Well, I'm sorry, we've turned it over. No, if you're a police officer on the scene, the law says you're required to intervene in unconstitutional behavior, at least by words. I mean, you're not required to tackle the other officer or punch him, but you could say something as, "Hey, get that lady up. Hey, brush those fire ants off." Boom. I mean, but they didn't do that. They failed to intervene.
Right. And any of the information you've gathered so far as this come out, have any of the other officers said post-fact that, "Hey, yeah, what I saw was wrong, and I just didn't intervene," or so do you have any of that information yet?
Well, I mean, you can see on the video they didn't intervene. So whether a person says I didn't intervene or not, once again, the video is right there where they're not intervening. So plus, officers generally stick together. So the first thing they do is they don't start saying negative things about other officers if they wish to keep on working.
Right. Well, I'm just saying, you're saying that if they recognize he was legal, they may not have thought it. That's what I'm trying to. You're trying to put some concept.
Well, then they need severe training because if you put a woman's face into an ant pile and leave it there and get all bitten up, and they don't know that they're not supposed to do that, that would be bizarre, and I don't think they're going to say that.
Well, no. I'm just saying, going to your course of what you're saying is that at any point has any officer said what they saw was wrong?
When you say on the video, no, not on any video. Well, we haven't taken their deposition and so forth. And once again, officers don't come forward. In any one of my hundreds of cases, even though I've won many cases for excessive force, no officer in any of those cases, and that's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of officers, have ever come forward to me and admitted, or to anywhere and admitted that what they did was wrong. They stick together till the end.
And do you know the status of the officers with the SFPD? You said one was promoted.
There's been no discipline whatsoever, even though they saw the video and looked at it.
Still with the department?
Yes, they are. All right, next door.
Has Santa Fe PD made any comment to you at all?
No.
They reached out at all to her?
No.
Anything?
No.
Any contact? Tell us about that.
No, there's been no contact, but I'm only the recent lawyer. There was a lawyer before, and I don't know about all of his interactions in the case. I've been on the case now for a few days.
Why did you take over?
Because the other lawyer is not on the case any longer.
By